going to talk about Steven Spielberg, but he made a comment about movies that I feel like applies to music.
Yeah.
He said a lot of places are putting out cookie cutter stuff that they have sitting on a shelf for years, safe music, movies, entertainment that they know will make them money.
Yeah.
Versus taking a risk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look at anything. You look at music, you look at movies, you look at, any of that. And it's all kind of cookie cutter.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's kind of why I like Michael Bublé. He's not performing a lot right now because his son, the last I knew, had cancer, and he was focusing on that. But I mean, his music, it's old stuff. I mean, he listened to the Eagles is one of my favorite, and he was play which one was it? He would sing a few Eagles songs.
Yeah.
A Heartache Tonight. That's one of them.
Yeah.
But he sings that, and he spices them up a little bit. That's one thing that I kind of like about country music. Is country music, it doesn't have to be dirty.
No.
It has a good storyline to it. Like Rascal Flatts a while ago, they came out with a song called Skin.
Yeah.
And it's literally talking about a girl finding out she has cancer and trying to struggle with that. And then how her boyfriend, she didn't want to go to prom because she was losing her hair. She had to shave her head. And then her boyfriend shaved his head so she wouldn't feel, alone. And I mean, it's just things that, like, I sit and listen to that song and you start to kind of, you can feel the emotion. That's music, know. And that's what I think. I mean, yeah, they've got the nostalgia factor going, but I feel like that's what a lot of people loved about some of the boy bands back in the 90s. And I mean, even One Direction. A lot of people like One Direction because they were clean songs. They had a story to them. They meant something.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, okay, One Direction. You Don't Know You're Beautiful. Do you know how many women in our society feel they have to put on makeup and all this other crap all over their face to make themselves feel beautiful?
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to natural beauty? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like in songs you're just pushing products anymore. And like I said, that's why I like a lot. I like a lot of country music. Some of the original artists. Florida Georgia Line isn't bad. They're kind of trying to bring. I mean, you even listen to their rap, and their rap, it makes sense. It's got a good, it just sounds appeasing. Versus some of the crap that some of the people in hip hop have, where or all the new rap stars have, where you can't even tell what they're talking about. You really don't care. You hear a cuss word every other word's a cuss word. I can't do it. And I find myself, listening to a song, from like late 90s, early 2000s or before that, like a hip hop song, like Will Smith. I can rock to, Will Smith rapping. But I mean, you think about it. Like, I can sit there and it's rap.
You can get jiggy with it.
Yeah, I can get jiggy with it. But I mean, it's good. I mean, how many people can rap the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
This is true. And make it sound like.
And make it sound
hokey.
good.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. There's just something about that, like music that's older. That, like I said, I like the Eagles. Yeah. And you listen to some of the Eagles songs. They've got.
Take It to the Limit's a good one.
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know if you guys, anybody who's interested in music or interested in the Eagles, Netflix has the Eagles documentary, parts 1 and 2, in one movie, and it literally, like, the first half goes through the history of the band.
Yeah.
And then the part 2 talks about the comeback tour, and all that. And I've even thought about going to, because the Eagles are still touring even without Glenn Frey. They brought in his son, and they brought in. They brought in a country singer. I can't remember what his name is.
But like to kind of support you in that, like if you got a song that's just from around the same time, probably around the time frame that. Yeah, because One Direction was just popular when we got towards the tail end of high school. So One Direction was kind of popular, but Dark Horse was made in 2013, right?
Right.
Which don't get me wrong, the song was popular as heck.
Right.
But if you listen to the song is about not much about anything other than humping.
Right.
That's it. It's just her warning, be careful. be careful what this thing's gonna do to you. It's just like, okay, great, and like you were saying before with country music, it's not explicit, it's not inherently dirty, right?
Right.
Do some country songs lend themselves to innuendo? Of course, right?
Well, I mean, it just makes it funny at that point.
Yeah, it's never usually a serious song,
right?
If it starts going to innuendo. Really?
Come on, he is a good artist.
Well, yeah, I thought you were looking up the Eagles, not Owl City.
I was originally, and then I was trying to think of a good song.
But that kind of stuff, it's just like I don't know. Maybe we're like the old school people.
The stuff, like the Disney stuff that she did.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. But she came up with a new song.
And Crazy Miley had a hit song, but I just find it. By the way, hear that ad.
My bad.
But if you look at the things, all the crazy stuff she did when she was in Crazy Miley mode, no one liked it because like, oh, that's Hannah Montana. Well, people got over that.
Right.
The reason why no one liked it is because she looked dumb.
Right.
She didn't look like how someone in their upper 20s should be acting.
Who? What? When she was Hannah Montana?
No, when she was Miley. When she went Crazy Miley.
Yeah.
She wasn't acting like someone in their.
Well, and you look at pictures before she shaved her head. She was a beautiful person.
Yeah. Well, it's just I know how I know she's really trying to save face too, is she was at that March for Life thing with the Parkland. Kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's saying she's saying the song the hit song that she did right after she got done with Disney Channel. It's
right.
The Climb, right?
Oh, I like that song.
Everyone likes that song. It's a good song, right? But how much are you trying to save face when you're a musician, when you're a singer, especially a young singer, and you're already having to go back to the stuff you did back in 2009, 2010 to come back to relevancy?
Is she starting to go back to that stuff?
I mean, that's the song. I've heard no new songs from Miley Cyrus, and that's the first time I've heard in a long time of her doing any kind of public appearances.
Which one?
And singing.
Oh.
Singing, "It's the Climb."
Oh, she sang that? Okay,
yeah, she sang it, yeah. So, it's like, maybe you shouldn't be acting like an idiot on stage? Maybe just a little bit? So, and don't get me wrong, like, going back to the original topic, Whitney Houston had her issues, obviously. Right. She had her demons, right? But she wasn't singing about her demons like they were a good thing, or singing like some of the things that she liked were always good things to like, right?
Right.
That's what made Madonna so popular for a little bit, because she's like, oh, she's the naughty girl of the '80s, right? And look, where's Madonna now? Yeah, she had people listen to her songs from the '80s. No one wants to go see Madonna.
No.
You can say, well, Madonna's not bad. You're right, she's not. But guess what? Garth Brooks was performing even longer than her, and he's still coming out with new stuff.
And he
took a break, and he came back.
He sells out arenas.
Yes, he does.
That man. Miley Cyrus's new song, the one that I was thinking about, is called Malibu. And like I said, it's not bad. It's decent. It's not one of my favorite songs of hers.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's bringing her back. I don't know. I feel like she's kind of doing what they did with the character James Bond when they did Skyfall. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Same thing. They had both gotten to a point where nobody, like James Bond. James Bond, when he was played by Pierce Brosnan, the writers made it cookie cutter. He had one gadget for this very specific purpose.
They made it outlandish.
Okay.
They made it impossible.
Right. Well, but it wasn't just that. It was also that, he would have this one gadget for this very, very, very specific need that may come up. And it came up, like his gadgets were one use, you use it once and you're done.
One thing only, yeah.
Right. Versus you go back in some of the other James Bonds, there was one episode, and this is one of my favorite examples. It was one episode or one movie that I watched of James Bond. It was with either Roger Moore or Sean Connery. I can't remember which one. And it literally, he was going off the grid, and Q said, "Here is a bag of gadgets." and he used the same one 2, 3, 4 times.
Yep.
You know, and found several different purposes for it. And I'm like, this is genius, you know. So by doing Skyfall, they gave him a gun, a transmitter, and that was it, and said, go. I think Miley Cyrus is kind of doing the same thing. She's kind of like, okay, I'm going to make an appearance here, and I'm going to sing a song that I know everyone likes, and hopefully I can get, you know, I can kind of get back into the good graces of everyone, because I've pretty much screwed up these past, you know, however many years. And I think that's kind of what she was doing with the song Malibu, because like I said, it's, you know, she grew her hair back out. It's kind of a nice slow song. It's got some meaning to it. She's not shaking her butt, you know. She's not. She's wearing clothes. She's actually wearing like sweat clothes, I think, in the video. But I mean, it's just, you know, it's just I'm starting to gain respect for her now that she's like, okay, I screwed up. And I was watching a video the other day talking about the top 10 people who flipped out.
Yeah.
And they said Demi Lovato flipped out. Well, if she did it behind closed doors, because I have no clue what Demi Lovato did to flip out.
She had an eating disorder. She I think she always kind of thought she was too big.
Right.
And then so she developed like
But that's not going crazy. That's dealing with an actual issue that's around in not only Hollywood but high schools.
Oh yeah. And you know that's what endeared her to a lot of people too, is that she was honest about it.
Right.
You know, when people ask where have you been, she's like, I've been dealing with like anorexia and stuff like that.
Right.
And like, oh.
And she's good now. I mean, her music.
She's on fire.
Her music is awesome. I mean, the first time I saw her in years, because you know I was around when she did like Camp Rock and all those, and her music that she did with Disney, I wasn't a fan of. You know, it sounded good, but I wasn't a fan of it. And I watched Glee. You know, I kind of missed the first few seasons, and then I kind of caught up in April, and I watched. I think I still missed the last season. I don't think I saw the very last season. But like she appeared on that episode, and I'm like, who's that? And, you know, I looked it up, and it was Demi Lovato. I'm like, she looks good. Like, you know, she looked healthy. She dyed her hair. She looked hot. Yeah. You know, looked like she was dealing with. She must have been dealing with whatever she was dealing with, because she looked good. She looked healthy. She didn't, you know. I don't know. I think she finally, you know, was able to deal with that. But I had no clue that she had dealt with, you know. And plus, I wouldn't consider that going crazy. You know, I mean, you look in comparison, and you've got.
But she had to take a break.
Right.
I think it's what more of the probably the article was about, was people that.
Well, no, it was a video.
And
they were talking about. My bad, it wasn't about people who were going crazy. It was people who effectively shook. I think it was people who effectively shook their Disney, like, personas.
Yeah, shook the Disney personas. Yeah.
And Miley Cyrus was number one, and I said, no, she didn't. She shook it. I'll give you that.
Big time.
But
she came back to it.
She has to come back to it. And this was a video a while back. But it was like she did. She's.
You can't say you shook. You shucked off your old personality
when you're really not as popular as you were when you had it.
Yeah. Or when you do it, you get popular for a set. Don't get me wrong. She probably reached heights of popularity higher than when she was at Disney.
Right.
But they didn't last. You know, it wasn't a sustainable
thing.
No.
And I mean, she was the biggest joke for how long?
A while. Like her entire time, people who didn't like. If you liked her music, you liked her music. But you also could laugh at some of the crazy stuff she did.
I mean,
like when her butt looked like a piece of frozen chicken.
Right.
Twerking on Robin Thicke.
Right.
Right. Who, he's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, that's because he wrote a song that got him sued, and then, which I feel like was a little bit of crap. Got sued, and then he tried to write a song about a breakup, and nobody heard from him again.
But like, so I looked up Katy Perry to find out her age and whatnot. So I was going through this Wikipedia article. Right, it says, you know, throughout her career, Perry's co-written songs, co-written songs recorded by other artists, including Selena Gomez in The Scene, which is like, okay, look, like Selena Gomez is a good example of, look where you started, and you just kind of slowly develop into a little more of a serious.
Right.
And she's doing good.
And people say her went crazy phase was when she did a movie called Spring Breakers.
Yeah.
That wasn't a crazy phase. She did She did a comedy.
A comedy. She did a comedy.
A comedy, and she was in a bikini.